Today we are sharing the fourth lesson from Godly Leadership. So what I learned from the life of Moses. So last week we looked at a lesson that said leaders are not meant to walk this walk alone. You're not meant to walk alone. You have to ask God to help you identify the people who are supposed to do this journey with you. And this is how you create a succession plan for when you're no longer here. Today, we're going to be looking at another lesson that I learned. Leaders who are sent by God, signs and wonders ought to accompany you in your assignment. So you have to have signs and wonders because this is the proof that you're really sent by God. And so we see in the life of Moses, we see in Exodus chapter 4, from verse 2 to 9, it tells us about the different signs. You know, when Moses was asking God, how would people really know that you appeared to me? How would they know that you really sent me? You know, anybody could come and say, oh, God sent me to do this. But Moses asked him, how? What is the proof that you really sent me? And so God gave him a series of signs that he had to use to prove to people that he was sent. The first one was, he asked, what is in your hand? Throw it down, and it turned into a snake. And then he's like, pick it up. He picked it up from the tail, and it turned back into a staff. He asked him to put his hand in his cloak, and when he took it out, it was white as snow. He put it back again, and then it came back to normal. He told him to take water from the Nile River and throw it on the ground, and it turned to blood. He said specifically in chapter 4, verse 5, he says, perform this sign, the Lord told him. Then they will believe that the Lord, the God of your ancestors, the God of Isaac, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, really sent you, really appeared to you. So signs are the proof that we are sent by God. I looked up the word signs and wonders, and this is what I found. It says, signs and wonders refer to miraculous, supernatural events that demonstrate God's power and authority, serving to confirm divine messages and encourage belief. These are miraculous, supernatural events that demonstrate God's power and authority, serving to confirm divine messages and encourage belief. And he defined a sign. He said a sign points to something beyond itself, signifying God's power or a specific divine purpose. You see, he said something beyond itself. So when Moses was performing these different signs that God had given him as proof, that they were not things that a normal human being would do. They knew that mere Moses, who was a shepherd man, could not do this thing with his own power. He could not. And so that on his own, it pointed to something that was beyond himself, was beyond him, Moses. It was something supernatural, you know. And he says a wonder invokes awe and amazement, encouraging people to contemplate important spiritual truths. Is that factor that will be like, wow, really? Is that kind of thing that you know that the man would not have done this. And so as believers, we are not called to be ordinary. Because we go not in our name, but we go with a superior name. And there ought to be that supernatural aspect that accompanies us, because this is the proof that we did not send ourselves. Remember in the first lesson when I talked that we do not send ourselves, we are sent of God. And guess what? When God sends you, he has the backing. He backs you up. If he sends you to an assignment, if he sends you, he will back you up. And he will give you the signs to accompany that assignment. And so just like Moses, you should ask, Father God, yes, I know you sent me. I believe you sent me, right? But how would people believe this? So accompany this assignment with signs and wonders. So when we look at Exodus chapter 4, verse 29, it says that then Moses and Aaron returned to Egypt and called the elders of Israel together. Aaron told them, remember Aaron was sent as a spokesperson. So Aaron told them everything that the Lord had told Moses. And then Moses performed miraculous signs as they watched. So all these signs that God had given him, he performed them in front of the elders. And as they watched it, then he says, chapter 30, verse 31, he says, then the people of Israel, they were convinced that the Lord has sent Moses and Aaron. So the signs that accompany your assignment is what is going to convince people that you are sent of God. Because other than that, you are just ordinary. People will not know that you are sent. So ask God, what is the sign that proves that I have been sent? Convince people. Use these signs to convince people. Because guess what? You know that the Bible tells us in Romans chapter 8 verse 19, it says that for the earnest expectation of all creation, they are waiting for the manifestation of the children of God. The earth is waiting for us to manifest. We cannot just go around doing business as usual. No. Then what makes us as children of God different? We have something supernatural. We have something supernatural, and we have to use that for our advantage. Because these are the things that are going to convince the world that indeed there is something greater beyond ourselves that we carry, the supernatural. So as a believer, signs ought to accompany the assignment. Signs and wonders is your natural. Because we have the power. He has given us the power to do these things. So ask God to give signs that will accompany that assignment that you have been called to do. Okay? Have a wonderful day, and I will see you when we're sharing the next lesson. Take care.